Okay, guys, so we're going to be starting and then um, we'll have some introductions. So you guys will be introducing yourselves, and I'm really excited to have all of you guys here. And so this is Innoverge's Fireside, and we're here with Christina.
Hi guys.
And so our agenda is right here. So we have introductions from round 4 to, or it's right now, so it's 1 to 1:15, and then we'll have Christina talk, and we'll have a Q&A/raffle. And
Perfect.
so Christina has over 600,000 followers on TikTok, which is insane, and over 50K on Instagram. And she's a trailblazer in the fields of STEM and automotive engineering. And she's an engineering student in UMich, which is a really amazing school in engineering. So that's pretty crazy. And she was the youngest ever intern at the Ferrari franchise. And so for her achievements in STEM, Christina has been recognized as a 2020 Changemaker and was awarded to exceptional Detroit area changemakers. So that's pretty cool to have her here.
Thank you.
And so just introducing Innoverge, we're a global youth network working to diversify the next generation of changemakers through interdisciplinary STEM X education. And so we focus on combining the intersection between STEM and the humanities, and our goal centers around educational equity and inclusivity. And we have had 200 plus free events, workshops, and programs worldwide for minority youths. And so some of our pillars include virtual programming. And so we have Christina here, and that's like part of our monthly fireside chat. And we had newsletters sent out every month and other resources. We also focus on community education, where we have in-person and impactful STEM X Humanities programming for underrepresented youth, and a remote learning program, which is actually going on right now. And one other of our pillars is our incubator, which is a tight-knit, student-driven mentorship program for launching ideas and projects. And so if you guys want to learn more about us, just check out our website at super easy, www.innoverge.org, or follow us at our Instagram at Innoverge International. And so just a little bit about our impact. We've had 5,000 students impacted in 34 locations and 11 countries. And we're supported by Disney, the Hershey Company, and Youth Service America. And right now we're a 501c3 fiscally sponsored organization. And so if you guys want to get involved after hearing about us, we have regional directors. And so you could lead STEM education in your community by hosting programs, just signing up in our website, and then or checking us out on Instagram. You could find out ways to get involved, and other ways include checking out our newsletter and subscribing for that. And so that's just letting you stay tuned with programs with us and other organizations, so you guys get the latest news about scholarships or any competitions happening, and then signing up for a mentorship program. And so that's just signing up to mentor a middle school student in STEM, which is just a 4-hour commitment in 1 month. And so right now we're going to have some introductions. And so I'll go first, and I'm Mariana. I'm 17 right now, and I'm in 12th grade. I live in Houston, Texas. And then 3 words that describe my interests is I'm in bands. I'm a super big music nerd. I love medicine and anything that goes around with that. So music, medicine, and I'm a huge foodie, so definitely food. And then my favorite Thanksgiving food is probably pie, apple pie specifically, since I have a massive sweet tooth. Do you want to go, Christina?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Christina. I'm 19 years old and I'm a rising senior at the University of Michigan. I do still live in Michigan, and 3 words that describe my interests and hobbies. So right off the gate, we have cars, um, engineering, and go-karts. So I guess they all tie in together, but yeah. My favorite Thanksgiving food is mashed potatoes and gravy. I just love it so much. I love everything about potatoes. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Mashed potatoes are like a staple in every
Yeah.
dinner. Ilana, do you want to go? And then you could pick someone else to go.
Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm Ilana. I'm 16 and a junior in high school. I live in San Mateo, California, And three words that I also very much enjoy food, but maybe baking, also baking. And I also really like coding, and I also like painting. Favorite Thanksgiving food? The sweet potatoes with like the marshmallows on top. That's my favorite.
So
Well, it's
good.
basically a dessert, but
Yeah.
popcorn to Connor.
Yeah, so my name is Connor Espenshade. I'm 16 and a junior from Cincinnati, Ohio. Three words that describe my interests: probably technology, medicine, philosophy, because those are related. And then favorite Thanksgiving food, I'm just going to have to go piggyback on the idea that just all the sweets, anything that's sugar related, that is where I will direct my interest on Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Popcorn to Neha.
Oh, I don't think Neha's here anymore. So how about Rafa? Do you want to go?
Hi, my name's Rafa. I'm 14. I'm a freshman at Seven Lakes. I live in Houston, Texas, and I'm also in band, so probably marching is one of my interests. Cooking and operating any type of machinery because my dad's a huge junkie of that. And probably pecan pie is my favorite Thanksgiving food. It's highly underrated, but I love it.
Okay, cool. And then I'll just pick on Terry next.
All right, so my name is Terry Zhang. I'm 18, and I'm a rising senior at Seven Lakes. Um, I live in Katy, and then three words to describe my hobbies would probably be, um, I like cars and driving. I like, I play a couple games, and I've been really getting back into it since quarantine started. And then, music is my last one. My favorite Thanksgiving food, although it's not like traditional Thanksgiving food, but we like to eat duck always on Thanksgiving Day since we're not really big turkey fans, so I would say duck for me.
Yeah, great. And then Emily, do you want to go?
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm in grade 10. I'm 15 years old. I live in Canada, London, Ontario. I think three words that would describe my interest and hobbies. I've been doing I hiking a lot with my cousins, and I love music, and I'm getting into cars. I've been getting into cars a little bit more. And I think I'd have to agree on the favorite food would be apple pie. I love apple pie.
Yes, totally agree. And then how about Grant?
Hello, yeah, I'm Grant. My age is 20 years old, and I'm located currently in northern Michigan, in Indian River more specifically. Three words that describe my hobbies and interests. Well, my number one hobby has always been cars ever since actually my first word was actually cars. I've always loved cars. Just like Terry, and I also like music as well. I like playing guitar, piano, drums, bass, whatever instrument I love playing. And I also have a passion for engineering. I am studying engineering at Purdue University. So that is also a hobby of mine. And my favorite Thanksgiving food has got to be, I'd say yams or collard greens.
Yeah, great. And then let's go Sophie, and then we could end with Joanne.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I just turned 17, yay. I'm a junior from California. Three words that describe my interests and hobbies. Can I go with can't be defined? Because I don't really know three words that can really encompass all my interests and hobbies. I'll say I do like STEM, so I'm excited to be here. And my favorite Thanksgiving food, I guess I would go with, I don't know, our family usually gets an apple pie for Thanksgiving. I know that's not common. I feel like most people get a pumpkin pie or something, but that's my favorite Thanksgiving food.
And then Joanne, do you want to go?
My name's Joanne. Also, I'm sorry if like you can hear background noise. My house is really loud. But I live in Florida. I'm 15 and in 10th grade, but I'm getting my GED in April to go to trade school for auto mechanics. So I like cars. I have a horse. I used to compete a lot, but cars have like taken all of my money from that. I can't really think of anything else I'm interested in, to be honest. But my favorite Thanksgiving food is probably stuffing.
Yeah, it was great getting to know all of you guys. And then we want to keep this as interactive as possible. So make sure if you can, try to keep your cameras on. And then if you want to ask any questions to Christina or to any of us, just ask questions in chat or you could turn your microphone on. And so let's go on and then we'll bring this back to Christina.
Awesome. Yeah, so I was gonna mention as well, if I'm talking a lot and you guys like have a question and like you don't want to forget it, you can just type it in the chat box. It's like in the corner of my screen. And then I'll get to it right after I start rambling. So as I already mentioned, I am a rising senior at the University of Michigan, and I'm only 19 years old. I mean, I don't know, people are usually like 21 or 22 when they're a senior. So how did that happen? I was in high school, I was in your guys' shoes as well. When I was, let's just say, a lot of schools are different. Some high schools start in 9th grade and some high schools start in 10th grade. My high school started in 10th grade. And when I was in 10th grade, I had no idea what I wanted to do, you know? And I wanted to say, I was kind of into cars, but I always pushed that aside. And I was like, you know, that's nothing like I don't know, there's just nothing that I could probably do with that. I just like them, but I always put it aside. And I was like, I need to focus on my school and get good grades, this and that. And I have like very like old fashioned parents. So they always just wanted me to become a doctor and like, you know, doctor equals money, right? And so that's always what they got in my head. And that's always what I wanted to be. I wanted to go in like pharmacy for no reason. I was not passionate about pharmacy at all. And so kept studying, kept getting good grades, had no reason or purpose of why I'm getting good grades, just to get into med school or get into a good college and stuff like that. So after, I guess, junior year, that's when things like started changing for me like drastically. And I met one of like the greatest teachers like I've connected with like throughout my whole life, who like probably got me where I am today. And that's just like to fulfill my interests. And like, you know, he was just like asking me, he's like, why would you want to be a pharmacist? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm like, my parents just say that like, you know, going into like med school or pharmacy school is the way to go. So it's like I've always listened to them. And it took me like that long, like up to junior year when you guys are taking your ACTs and SATs to realize, holy crap, this isn't what I wanted. And so after then, you know, he started like connecting me with like some people that he taught in the past. And I would just talk to them and stuff like that, but I was still very lost. I was like, I can't just follow their path. And in a way I was kind of like copying their path. They're like, oh, okay, cool. So this girl joined this club, you know, there was some different types of clubs in each high school. So I joined a club that she would join. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get where she is by doing this, right? But no, like that's not the point. Like you gotta have to like, you know, pave your own path, but like still like listen to other people's journey, which is why you guys are here today as well, right? So yeah, so basically I was kind of like following their path and I was still lost. And I was like, they're like, so what do you like? I'm like, well, I kind of like what you like, but like, I don't know, you know, it was just always that. And then, so I guess I'll just like name an example. I don't know if you guys know Christina Lee. She is just graduated from Stanford. She works full time at SpaceX. She was an intern at Tesla and stuff like that. And she came to the same high school as I did. And, you know, so I went to Stanford for a fellowship. I went there a few times and kind of started following her path, but I had no purpose in it. And although I enjoyed what she did, I just didn't feel like I was suited for it because I wasn't really passionate about it. So after those internships, after I took you know, I was studying hard for the SAT, you know, studying my butt off. I took it like so many times. I was like, I don't really know. I don't really like this. I'm not into rockets like she is. Like she was like all about, you know, like space and stuff like that. So I was like, I really like cars. I'm gonna start talking about cars more, right? So I started getting into the car scene, and I didn't have a cool car. I had my mom's Camry, like 2005, like blue Camry, and I would just like find out about car meets, and then I would like take it to car meets, but I would like drive it like a mile away from the actual car meet, and then like walk to the car meet, and then like just talk to people, get to know people and stuff like that. And then that's how I like started merging like my passion with what I actually want to do. And then it started becoming, oh, I want to work on my mom's car. Like I'm gonna start changing things about my mom's car. Oh, something's broken about it. I'm gonna do research about it and try to fix it, this and that. And it eventually led to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is like the perfect, like, I don't know, merge together, you know, like cars and engineering. And put those two together, and my basically like my passion just like exponentially rose. I'm like, I want to do everything. So I would try to figure out any other opportunities and stuff like that, because I finally found like what I wanted to do. And then it led to Ferrari, and I was like really passionate about Ferrari because there was a like backstory behind it that kind of like touched me emotionally. And so I reached out to Ferrari, and they had like no interns before, and they were like super confused when I asked if I could have an internship like opportunity there. And they were like, what are you talking about? And I had to go look through like several interviews to like try to get them understand like what an engineering internship is and like what I want to do. So I kind of like created my own position there. And that's something I wanted to like tell you guys too, which is really important. Like if there's not like an opportunity or like a position available, you can create it yourself. You just like obviously got to get your points down correctly and like explain to them what exactly you'll be doing for them, like for them to gain something out of it, and like what you're going to be gaining some out of it. So yeah, so after I did that, I scored my internship, and I remember like I got the email and I was like crying. I was like, there's absolutely no way. They said yeah. And so that was 2 summers ago, I want to say, or last summer. That was right before I went into the University of Michigan, which was my dream school. But I wanted to go into U of M as a med student and not an engineering student. But then I finally applied to the College of Engineering because I'm like, this is really what I want to do. And as soon as I got there, you know, everything was just so exciting. But I want to say, obviously, like once you get into college, I know some of you guys are still in high school. I was very intimidated because I hate saying this, but it's so true. There's so many more guys than girls in like every single class you sit in when you're an engineering student, and probably some other classes as well. Take auto classes, for example. And you know, I would even like when you would partner up and stuff like that, you would kind of see, like I started seeing it. I was super excited walking in the class, and I would walk out like, this is so sad and upsetting, and I like don't want to ever talk again and stuff like that, because I would just feel like I was always wrong for some reason. I was always like, I felt like I couldn't put my 2 cents in a conversation because that would always get shut down or stuff like that, right? And you know, when you keep trying and stuff like that, you just keep pushing it out there. And if someone doesn't want to do what you want to do, there's always a way you can like prove your point and like work around it. And obviously COVID hit, so my whole like University of Michigan like semesters went to a shutdown because we all got sent home and stuff like that. So honestly, I was perfectly fine with that. I was like, that's fine. I hate saying this, but I really like, I didn't enjoy my time there just because of it was a short amount of time, and I didn't really get to like put my like 2 cents in the whole institution as I did in my high school. So I got home, and then I was finally able to save up enough money to get a car. So I got my 350Z. I was doing a lot of research about cars. I was keeping an open mind for what I want. And then I got a 350Z. And with how I got that 350Z, extra scholarships. So when you're very academically inclined, or you just like are really good at writing or whatever the case may be, there's a lot of scholarships out there for you guys or for anyone. And every time, I want to let you guys know, every time there's extra scholarships that exceed the amount you need for your institution, it goes straight to your bank account, and you can do whatever you want with that money. So with that money, I bought a car, and I was also working and stuff like that. And then I started making a TikTok, and I started filming about my car, and that got a lot of attention. And so I continued that. And then I started merging engineering with like the 350Z and stuff like that. And that got pretty far as well. And I feel like that's where I got most of my attention from on TikTok. And then that merged over to Instagram. And with those, like that attention, a lot of people are, you guys are probably like 10 times smarter than me and everything. Like there's always someone smarter than me. You know, I wasn't the smartest at U of M and stuff like that. But there's always a way to play your cards right, and there's always a way to play your cards wrong, you know what I mean? And so with that TikTok attention and stuff, I started getting recognized more, and that's how I got a lot of other opportunities that I'm actually working on next semester. I'm kind of flying over this right now, so let me know if you guys have any questions. But like fast forward, I guess few months into TikTok, or like few months into, I guess now, I got this opportunity that I will be taking next semester, and it's basically working with this like big time like YouTuber like slash company people. They're called Throttle, and basically they do a bunch of car builds, and so they'll be able to fund my own car build, and I could basically record about it, and I will be getting paid, and I also will be learning a lot. So I never really took a semester off. So next semester is going to be my first time taking a semester off to be working with a company. And I think it's a perfect time, just because like right now education's very going to a downhill slope, and it's just because of COVID. It's nothing wrong with the teachers, nothing wrong with you guys, like us, me. It's just COVID is really making everyone unmotivated. Even the teachers, you know, when they're filming, I mean, when they're lecturing in their kitchen, you know, it's a different environment. It's not fair to anyone, but it's what it is. And I think what really defines like a person, I guess, like you guys, and what defines me and stuff is what you make out of your situation. So my family, this is the other thing that I really wanted to mention. My family doesn't come from money, like whatsoever. I've had like times where like I couldn't even eat dinner sometimes because, you know, we didn't have money to buy food. And I didn't let that stop me. Applied to a lot of scholarships. I knew obviously that's like a good path for money. And also there was FAFSA or FAFSA, however you pronounce it. But I was always doing research, right? I was like, there's no way like I could just be swept under the rug because I don't have the like capabilities or abilities from my parents to like fund what I want to do, which is, you know, take a trip to go to Stanford and like check out the school and like meet like cool engineers there, and take a trip to Miami and go meet a bunch of car people and like try to work out deals and like partnerships and potential internships and full-time jobs and stuff like that. So there's always a way to fund what you want to do. And I really wanted to emphasize that too, because when you start getting a lot of like attention on like TikTok and Instagram, people tend to forget. You know, not everyone's made out of money. So once they see like my car, they don't know how I got it, but they're always, you know, a couple comments is always like, oh, is that your brother's car? Oh, who bought that car for you? Did your dad buy that car for you? Oh, your parents have money in this and that. And you can sit down and explain to every single comment like your whole backstory. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because all it matters is that you know how you got to that point. And the fact that people are commenting like that, those kind of things about your car and stuff really show that you as a person like got that far. So I guess that's like what I really wanted to emphasize. And also again, your situation, everyone's situation is different, right? And going back to like my initial talk, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and copying someone else's like path is really not the right way to do stuff. Sure, you can use their path as a good example of where you want to go, but remember all the characteristics that each and every single one of you have, and try to merge them into your own path. And that's what really makes you like be put on the spotlight. And that's why like people want you, is because holy crap, this girl or guy like knows how to weld, or like likes to code a lot, but like is also like into cars, or is also into like baking. Like those are like completely like different things. Like why would you expect that? And now they're like, why like we really want her, she has like those cool characteristics that the next person wouldn't, whether that's for a job or for a potential internship or like a partnership that I'm like going to be taking next semester and stuff like that, right? So those are like, that's like a very cool, like, I mean, small debriefing, but I have some notes jotted down. I also wanted to mention, so cars. Obviously, cars, one of the biggest male dominated categories you can have. You know, engineering alone is very male dominated. Like people like to mention that a lot, but like when you delve into the auto industry, it's like male dominated on steroids. Everybody, you know, everybody wants to put their 2 cents in when you're a girl. Everyone wants to tell you what you did wrong and not what you did right. And I just wanted to like let you guys know, whatever like category you're in, don't ever let that bring you down. I hate saying that. It's such a very like cliche or like common thing to say, but remember why you started. And you can only get so like, people can only get so far with those like hate comments. And I also want to say a couple things that I've learned is that haters obviously like to talk louder than others. You know, they always like to be the loudmouth in the comments and make sure you knew what they said, and you like they kind of brought you down. That's what they kind of like want to happen. So don't let that stop you. That's kind of what I want to say. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I have more to talk about, but I can answer some questions right now. Yeah, so I just want to also say that like, yeah, parents also have a huge influence on what you want to do, but you know, you don't let that gear your path. Sometimes they like to tell you what to do because that's all they know. I'm not saying like parents are bad, but it's in a way it's right. Some parents are, both parents are doctors, you know, they want their kid to be a doctor, but like if you want to be an engineer and you want to, I don't know, civil engineer, computer scientist, stuff like that. If you can show them like how successful you are, how passionate you are, they should have no problem in letting you do what you want to do. And I think that's kind of like on my, what happened with me and my mom, when she found out that I wanted to go into computer science and like wanted to focus on like data analytics within the auto industry and this and that. She was like, what are you talking about? That's like a job for a brother, you know, like that's a boy's job. And then after like I kind of showed her like, mom, like look at all these opportunities I'm getting, and like she would see like how happy I was every time I was working on my car or like meeting people. And you know, she kind of like sat down. She's like, okay, like I trust you. And she's like, I like where you're going. And now she's like the proudest like mom she could ever be, because she's like, yeah, like my daughter's into cars and this and that. So yeah. I also wanted to mention, I don't know if you guys like reading books, but one of the books I really liked that got me started making me want to like change drastically was Cal Newport. He had this like one high school book. I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but if you guys search up like Cal Newport High School, there's literally a really short book on it. If you just take 30 minutes out of your time and start reading it, 30 minutes a day, it will really change you. If you feel very lost and you're like, I don't really know what path I want to take, it kind of helps you, it helps you guide your path. And then I'll write it right here. And then there was also this one guy named Malcolm Gladwell, which was also very like, it's very self-development, and that's what I really like. So I may be biased towards what you guys want, but those people are very like ambiguous, and you can kind of like gear what they're saying towards what you want, and it really helps you guide your path, and it helps you become more of like more professional and more just helps you like figure your life out when you're totally lost, because high school can be very, very confusing. And I also want to say that like when you're in high school, you're friends with, or middle school, you're with a lot of people that know, you know, everyone knows each other in a way, right? The high school is not very big, and once you go out in the bigger world, not bigger world, once you get out of high school, I at least don't talk to anyone anymore from high school, maybe like 2-3 people, but I still connect with my teachers, and I'm closer with my high school teachers than I am with my college professors, just because of COVID. You know, we don't have time to stop by at our professor's office because it's like either an online chat or nothing. So yeah, like after you're out of high school and when you meet so many people, that's when I personally feel like you start getting lost, because you're like, holy crap, there's so many people out there with so many like things like you can do and not do, and you don't even know what you want to do. You don't know your place in society in general, or your community. And so I was just gonna say these books help a lot when you're still in high school trying to prepare for college. So yeah, let me type them in real quick. You have, okay, so Sophie has yeah, that's exactly it. So Cal Newport called How to Be a High School Superstar. That was the book that I read. And then, yeah, she got it. So, and then there was Malcolm Gladwell. He has a few books that are really good. One of his popular ones, I'll try to find the title of it. It's also a really good self-development guy. He also came to the University of Michigan, and I didn't know who he was when he came. So I was like, who is this guy? But after that, I was like, dang, I should have went there. So he's a very highly looked upon guy. But yeah, let's see what other things I wanted to talk about. I have so many things I have to say. So I have to narrow it down, and let me know if you guys are kind of confused in my timeline, because I did kind of hover over everything, because I could probably talk about every single thing for an hour, but we only have an hour. So yeah. I also wanted to talk about, while I was in high school, I was trying a bunch of different things. I liked coding, so I built an app. Oh, nice. So yeah, so people know who Cal Newport is. That's awesome. Yeah, he's an amazing dude. But back to high school. So when I was in high school, I started getting into coding, and I really kind of started getting into coding because I found out, I was really into cybersecurity, and it was just always cool for me. When I watched movies and people were just coding like crazy, and I was like, what is going on? So I started learning how to program. I would just search up online tutorials, and then I built my own app for my high school, and that made it big time. It was on the news and everything. But then there was this one guy who was pretty mad because he was obviously probably a better programmer than me. He's probably was doing it longer than me, but he got really upset about it and basically found my source code. It was online. My code was online, and he found that all, and kind of hacked into my app in a way, and then went to my principal and told him how oh, there's something wrong with this app. It actually it does this for the high school and stuff. It was an attendance based app, and it was a really good idea, but obviously I was new to coding. I did a lot of debugging, but it was good enough to be pushed throughout the high school, and we wanted to push it throughout the district, but he had to stop everything because he found my code online. It was on GitHub, and I didn't know at the time that it was public. And then he went to my principal and told him oh, there's something wrong with this app. And then the principal completely stopped it. And then there was flyers everywhere in the high school telling everyone, all the students, not to download the app, and you can't use this at the shop and stuff like that. So that also, I wanted to say, a lot of people around you and students or people within the community, there's also that little jealousy matter to things, and people like to do things, negative things, because it's most of the time out of jealousy, or they're just upset because they knew that they were a way better coder, or whatever the case may be, but they want to find a way to bring you down. And yeah, I was really upset. I was like, wow, this is so embarrassing and everything. But looking back at it right now, it's yeah, so everyone's that's so messed up. That's crazy. It was. I remember I didn't know who it was for a while. And then I didn't even mention this. I was in a robotics team. I was in the Thunder Chickens. We actually won the world championship. Yeah. So he didn't even go to my high school, and he was in my robotics team and found out about it. So that's when he did all that, and then went to my high school to tell my principal about it. And they were just mad because in robotics, you guys have all these subsections with coding, mechanical, electrical, and I was part of the coding group, and he found out, and that's when that all happened. And it was really, really embarrassing, but it's nothing I could have stopped. I just wanted in a way, people wanted to bring you down, but not because you did something wrong. It's just because they were upset. And yeah, they were kind of upset by I guess the media, I want to say the news, and teachers like being excited about the app, and they're like, no, like I could have done this, but they didn't. But someone said, so Grant said, basically he's a better coded, but you are the one who did something with it. So yeah, so I actually like took action. I had a good idea, merged it together, and it's not about what you know, it's about what you do with what you know. Exactly, Archika. So that's exactly what happened. And that was like my first case where something happened and I didn't know how to react, right? It was embarrassing, it was bad. It was out of like jealousy. And I was like, wow, this is like so so sad. But after, obviously, that was junior year of high school, or yeah, it was junior year of high school, and I was just starting to get into like CSE, which is computer science engineering, and trying to figure out what I actually wanted to do. And that thing all blew over, and that's when 11th grade I was like, I'm gonna try to find a way to leave high school early. I want to graduate high school a year early. And it wasn't really because of the programming thing, but it's like I know now what I want to do, but now I want to leave. I know there's better things out there for me and I can figure it out. And I really wanted to touch base with you guys about that. I've always been that type of person where I said rules are made for the average. And I'm not saying go and break all the rules you find in high school or college or whatever, but there's always loopholes around it. You can always outsmart the system, and not in a bad way. So what I did was during high school, around 11th grade, I was taking all AP classes and I had fulfilled all my requirements. And I was like, this is enough for me. I want to like go to my dream college. I want to figure this out. And I did my 2 cents in high school. I love my teachers. I did good things within my high school timeline, and I have okay grades, good grades actually in high school. And I was like, I need to leave. So I met up with the superintendent. I met up with the whole district. I had several meetings, and every time I had a meeting, I would walk out crying because they're like, there's no way you can graduate early. And they're like, you can't do it. These are the rules are set. We're not going to change them up for you, this and that. So what I ended up doing was I converged everything to an online high school. My Stevenson, all my credits and stuff, conversion to an online high school. And I was taking college classes at the same time. And then I got my diploma within that same, like the end of junior year, right at the end of the junior year, maybe a month after, during the summer. And then I applied to my dream college. So I was able to get into my dream college, which is the University of Michigan, while I was taking college classes at a community college. I wanted to also mention that. So because the thing that U of M really wanted to see my exact graduation date, and that's what they were confused about. But I was explaining everything to them, like, you guys, like, I'm taking my high school classes right now while I'm taking college classes right now. I left my actual high school to go to an online high school, and I got in there, right? So I was able to graduate high school a year early, and with all my AP credits, I was able to walk in as a junior at the University of Michigan. Just because I had a lot of credits from my community college and my AP credits. So those all merged in. I got in my my college. And I want to like fast forward now. I'm like, okay, everything's online and I'm just really not in like, I really can think I can work a way around this and just do something better for myself. And so that's when I decided to take a semester off and work with Throttle. It's a little different situation, but I'm like, I am already ahead, very ahead. And I think taking a semester off won't hurt. And it's a killer opportunity, and I couldn't pass it up. So that's what I'm doing right now. But I just wanted to mention to you guys, like, don't ever like just follow rules just because that's what everyone else is doing. You sit back and be like, why am I doing what everyone else is doing when I know for a fact what I want to do and I can work my way around it. So I've always had that mindset, and I think that's always a good mindset to have when you're always just trying to chase something, because if you're just sitting around every day in class and like staring at the board and you're like, wow, this is interesting, but I know I could be finished with this within a week. I could finish all this material in a week or whatever. There's just always a way around it. And I know everyone's situation is different. Everyone's high school policies are different. My high school policy, like, they weren't willing to work with me whatsoever. So I was like, I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm not going to let anyone stop me. And I'm going to figure a way out of it. But moving on, I also want to talk about also like hate comments, because that's one of the things that it stops a lot of people from doing what they want to do. obviously the whole programming issue when that guy found my code online and hacked into it. That was my first encounter when someone was actually like, trying to get at me. And then moving on to college, everyone was pretty open-minded other than the fact that like, classes were mostly male dominated and no one really wanted to hear what you had to say. But you just have to find the right people within that, or just like trust yourself, trust and believe in yourself that you're not doing anything wrong. It's just some people just don't like to accept the fact that like women can be just as smart as some guys in the industry just because or even cars, like just because you grew up with your dad teaching you everything you had to know about cars, or like way more than I do, it doesn't mean that I'm in the wrong, or you have to make me feel like any worse about myself. So I just wanted to mention that as well. But yeah, after TikTok, I want to say literally by the day, if I pull up my TikTok right now and search up comments, like you would think it's ridiculous, but it's gotten to a point where it doesn't even bother me anymore. And obviously positive comments like outweigh the negative comments, but they still get to you, right? But I just wanted to mention how like in high school, it was that one person, it took that one person to actually like kind of bring me down. And I was like, this is so sad. But now it's like when you show yourself out to the world, anyone can be watching those videos, and they're going to be there forever in a way, because when you put something out on the internet, it kind of stays on the internet. And like hundreds of comments versus that one person, they just like equally weigh out to me. And in a way, it's like it doesn't bother me anymore, right? Because you're not doing anything wrong. You're not putting anyone else down. You just like what you like and you want to put it out there and teach other people. And yeah. I just want to like show you guys like some comments. Like I know like a couple of my friends will try to reply to the comments and like try to like back me up. I'm like, you guys, like it's totally fine. Like there's just people like that. People just don't like to see other people do well for the most part. And yeah, like I don't know, like there's literally a comment right now. It's like, oh, what does she know? She just has a 350Z. Like it's just so like such random comments that like you sit back and you're like, it could hurt you, but you could just like shrug your shoulders and move on. You're like, people will always have something to say. And I also mentioned like the haters just like to talk louder than other people. So yeah, let me answer some questions, I guess, while we're here. Yeah, so as Ariana said, you can unmute yourself or type them in the chat box. But yeah, I have like so many things I can talk about. So if you guys just give me a topic, if you want me to talk about, if I sound a little boring to you guys, let me know. Because I always have so much to say. So I can also bring up something else while I was in high school. I had 2 programs. I was following through with this teaching a coding camp. There's a lot of nonprofit organizations you can start within your high school. Like I mentioned, if there's not a position there, if there's not a club you want to join, create it yourself. So there was a coding camp that taught a bunch of middle schoolers how to code, how to program a website and start it up. So that was called Hello World. And the girl who started up that camp graduated and went to Stanford. She's my friend now, and she needed someone to teach it. And I was like, I got you. Like, this is going to be so fun. I was obviously very nervous. I didn't know how to talk in front of all these kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, like icebreakers. I need to think of stuff. But I started teaching it for a few years, and then I started my own camp, and it was called Project 101, where me and a bunch of girls got together and we built a go-kart, and they had so much fun and I had so much fun. We got to drive it around and stuff, and that led to a lot of other like partnerships and like just cool things that like people were like, oh my god, this is like a genius idea. I'm like, I know, it was so much fun. And I just wanted to like let you guys know, like you can be doing the same thing. Like if you have an idea, you're like, oh my gosh, like it would be so cool if like I got together like 10 to 15 students and we all built something. We all worked on a car. We had one car. I would drive it up, for example, and I would get a lot of parts sponsored for me. So when you have a 501c3, you can reach out to a lot of companies and they're willing to pitch in money for you to fund your program, and that's how it usually works. just as long as it's obvious it's non-profitable. So you're not using that money towards it, you're using it towards helping the community and your organization. So you could buy a bunch of car parts, and a bunch of you guys can just install them together and share it with a bunch of companies, and they would really like that. And it's also something to put on your resume and your like college application and stuff like that. So oh yeah, Archika, you can go. Oh, someone said, can you talk about your experience with your Ferrari internship? Yeah, so obviously when I was at Ferrari, you know, I'm not dealing with 17, 16-year-olds. You know, you're dealing with people who have a job and who are very like passionate about cars as well. So there was no like intimidation like bubble out there. You know, when I'm dealing with people my age, they have a lot of other things they like to say, you know, and for example, the high school situation with that guy, right? But you know, people are like older people, I like to say, like adults are actually like fascinated. They're like, holy crap, there's this little kid who's like so interested in cars and like loves Ferrari and is really interested in engineering. So there was no intimidation when I got there. I guess I was so passionate about cars that I just like, you know, being nervous was not even an option in my brain. So once I got started with that, they were really confused. They're like, okay, so let's say we got you in tomorrow. What exactly are you going to be doing? And I'm like, well, what do you guys do? Right? I was like, what does each position do within the company? So there was a Ferrari like dealership in Michigan, but it's also a performance. They also have a performance automotive like performance facility where they also work on the cars, and there's also a service section, of course. And that's where I wanted to work. I'm like, I want to work in the service section. I want to learn a lot, and I don't know much about cars, let alone like the Ferrari like issues in general. You know, I only know so much. And so they're like, okay, yeah. So basically I walked in the next day. I was shadowing a bunch of people within the service section. I was diagnosing cars, we were working on them, making calls for car parts, getting them in, organizing. And the owner of that dealership would actually be there all the time. And he would work just like any other person out there. Like he was sweeping the floors, you know, he was cleaning the desks and stuff. So everyone was wearing multiple hats. And that's kind of where it came out to be with me as well. So there was at one point where I had to fill in for the front desk, and I had to organize all the events. And so yeah, I was working at the front desk for a while, just making calls, transferring calls, organizing events. And then, you know, some days I would put on my other outfit and work in the service section. And we would just, you know, be diagnosing cars, fixing leaks, getting them ready, detailing them for their owner. And it went on like that for like 3 to 4 months, 5 months. And then eventually I had to go to the University of Michigan, and then COVID hit, so I came back. So yeah, so it was, so all in all, if you guys actually search up, they interviewed me at the Ferrari dealership as well, performance automotive facility, on the news channel. And so we had to like reenact a lot of things, B-roll a lot of things at the Ferrari building. And it was really cool because I got to talk about everything I liked and how I started, like more in depth and stuff like that in the news coverage, I guess. And yeah, so a lot of people knew about that like through Ferrari, and obviously through Ferrari you meet a lot of Ferrari owners that own a lot of buildings. So there's a lot of like connections and stuff that just like flow around the whole building. You meet like several people every single day. So I absolutely loved it. I wasn't intimidated at all. Like everyone felt like family. So I really liked it. So how old were you when you got the internship? I was 18 years old. I was just about to turn 18. Yeah, I know. So that's why they were all confused. They're like, you're so young. They're like, what do you mean you're like about to go into college? I'm like, I'm about to go. I'm about to go in as a junior. And so that's when I stopped working for Ferrari. They said right when you start college, you know, that's kind of when your internship will end. But I was around 17, 18 years old. So yeah. Someone said, oh, so Archika, you can ask your question.
Yeah. First off, I hope you're doing well. It's definitely been
I'm doing good.
a while. But you've already done so many crazy cool things, from like, you know, being an influencer and working for Ferrari and things like that. So do you know like what you want to do after you graduate from college? Do you know what your plans are, or are you still kind of taking
Yeah.
it one day at a time?
No, you're good. That's a perfect question. And by the way, if you guys don't know, so I met Archika like a while back. How old were we? I don't even know how old we were, but we met at Stanford. There's this one program called She Plus Plus. And they actually like they fly out a bunch of like girls and guys who are kind of into like programming or STEM in general, and you get to just meet a bunch of people and you go to a bunch of companies. And so that's how I met her and a bunch of other people, and we still like, are friends till this day. So that just goes to show that like, high school friends like are kind of get like, you're gonna meet so many other people that like high school friends, you're like, oh yeah, like we can hang out sometime, but we're probably never gonna get to it. But yeah, so the question was what was the question?
Post college plans, basically.
Oh, college plans. Okay, so yeah. So I was gonna mention I am a computer science engineering major. I do have like 3 semesters to go until I graduate, so I'm a rising senior. And I decided to take a semester off because I really wanted to take upon this opportunity with Throttle. And when I tell you guys, almost every single person I've talked to, and they have like over like 7 million subscribers on like YouTube and like big influencers that I used to watch as a kid, but now I'm like really good friends with, and I don't even like tell them like, oh yeah, I used to watch you, because I would just be like major fangirling in my head. But they all told me, get your degree and stay in school, because I was always like, I'm making it like I'm doing good on TikTok, and I'm like merging a lot of things on like YouTube, and like I kind of in a way like want to drop out. I think I can do it. And they all said, don't do it. And they're like, don't even think about it, because once you get your degree, you're going to feel so much better about it. And I'm like, in a way it's very different, because it's easy for them to say that, because this whole COVID situation has really affected education. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard like Bill Gates talk about everything, and he said that, education is probably not going to come back to normal until 2021, if that were like, if until then we're lucky. So things are like very different now, as I mentioned, but you have to make the most out of your time and what you got, right? So like, perfect example, like I mentioned, like I obviously didn't have no money, but I'm not going to sit around and say, oh my gosh, like I can't figure out how to get a car, or I can't figure out how to get to Stanford and stuff like that. There's people out there, there's communities out there, there's organizations out there that will pay for your trip, or there's scholarships out there that will pay for your trip if you need to go somewhere like within the community or within the institution, or just like a nationwide like scholarship. So back to the question, I decided to take off this semester, but I do plan on going back, and I'm going to force myself to go back no matter how well I'm doing, just to get my CSE degree. And I really want to continue with this company called Throttle, just because like I really like the quality they put out there, and how they also all got their degrees. So the founders of that company are all mechanical engineering students, and they were a startup. They used to be a software company, and it wasn't doing well, so they kind of turned their tables into a like more of a automotive like marketplace company, and then it turned into YouTube. And so that's the team I want to be joining, and hopefully like working further with. And then I do want to, after I get my degree, of course, I want to continue with YouTube. I love, like filming about my car and do cool car builds, but I also want to continue nonprofit organizations. I want to like further my Project 101 organization, the Hello World organization, and just like get a bunch of students together so we can work together and just like have a great time, and just like encourage more students to like join the STEM field, or just like continue their education, whether it may be in college or not, So there's so many ways you can learn. There's edX courses. I don't know if you guys know about that. There's a lot of free courses on edX through like Harvard, Stanford, University of Michigan, and I did a lot of those as well. And so yeah, so I want to continue my nonprofits, and then after that, I do want to do some research, whatever the case may be with research. I want to do a lot of like performance, like automotive like performance research, whether it is finding a new way to use forced induction, or anything. So that'd probably be like stuff I would do off camera, but on camera, like I want to do a lot of like cool car builds and like crazy car builds that like no one would expect, like both engine wise and just like makeshifts. So yeah. Sophie had to head out, but it was nice meeting you as well. And hopefully we'll all like meet again soon. I'll probably be joining the fire chat next month as well. So just to like, you know, join and ask questions. So yeah.
And then we have one more question, and then we'll probably end there.
Okay. So who has one more question?
I have a question.
What's up?
How did you like bridge the gap between you and like the negative men that you've met in the automobile industry?
That's a really good question because like I mentioned, I'm not kidding you, like by the minute, you know, I'll like be scrolling through comments on, if you even look at some of my comments, you would think it's absolutely ridiculous. About how like shallow and like, you know, negative people can get. Even sometimes girls, you know, sometimes girls like to like kind of one up each other and just try to get competitive for no reason. But in a way, I learned to ignore comments, but what sometimes, you know, you'll get people in real life too. Let's say I was like working with a team of people on cars, they kind of would like to like point me out and be like, yo, like, are you sure you know what you're doing? And I'm like, you know, and I could go two ways. I could get mad and be like, why are you, you know, like pointing me out because I'm a girl and this and that, and try to get all upset about it. Or you can I just kind of like shrug it off. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I guess I might break it. I don't know. I like joking about it. And I'm like, I probably will break it. And then obviously eventually, if anything, like I'll do better and do better than what they could do. And if anything, I'll just like impress them. Right. So like, I let it not get to me. Just because at this time of age, like people might think they're just like, it's completely fine, you know, pointing a total girl and like kind of baby me, be like, are you sure you know what you're doing and stuff like that. And especially when they're older, you can get intimidated by it, but sometimes it's like for the most part, like when I'm working on a car, like I feel confident. I'm like, I know I can do this right. And if I make a mistake, in my opinion, I'm like, you know, someone else could have made that same mistake. I could just work around it. I can find a way to fix it, even if it takes 1 hour or like 8. And this has happened to me before. A simple mistake. Like I've cut the wrong ends of a wire before, and I had to like rewire them and find the exact parts again and everything. And it took me the whole day, but like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like it was an easy mistake. I just didn't think much of it, and anyone could have made it. And sure, there's probably, you know, guys out there that are probably going to be like, oh, of course she did that. Oh, of course because she's a girl, she messed up, right? I always get those comments or like those like remarks, and I know people would be thinking it too. But like at the end of the point, it's like, you know who you are, you know what you've done throughout your whole life, and it just doesn't like get to me, you know, mentally and like physically too. It's not going to make me any more nervous. And I'm like, you could have easily made that same mistake. You know, everyone makes mistakes. You know, we're not perfect. Even robots make mistakes. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, and someone says actions speak louder than the comment section. Very true, right? So there's, you know, people can easily like get behind a, you know, camera or get behind a screen and start typing something out and be like, perfect, I'm gonna submit this. Hopefully it gets to them, right? And we have no idea who they are, what they look like, what their situation is. So it can't get to you, you know what I mean? It's just like it's not anything. I guess I used to get to me when I first started off, but nowadays it's like, you know, I know who I am. Like I mentioned, I keep rambling on, but I'm like, I know what I've done. I know who I am. I know what I like and I know what I don't like. So it's not that big of an issue if someone wants to, you know, make a negative remark. But Joanne said, I have to leave. I have to go to work. I'm so glad I could join. I hope I get to talk to you again. Also, I'm the one that your friend with the GT asked you to DM me the other day. Yeah. So I knew who Joanne was actually. So once I saw her, I was like, aw. But hope you have a good day at work, and good luck with the auto. I think she said she was joining an automotive like tech trade school, which is super cool because like if I could do that too, I would, because I didn't know what I wanted to do earlier in my time. So that's super sweet. And I know a lot of girls who've joined that, they decide to do trade school versus full-time college. And honestly, like props to them, because if they know what they're doing at an earlier time, you're saving money, you're saving yourself time, and you're more confident because you're more passionate about what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because you can sit down inside of a classroom, and like, let's just say, for example, with me, if I sat down inside of a computer science classroom and I liked it, but there was so many other people around me and I was getting really intimidated. In my eyes, it really shows I'm not really passionate about how like I'm not really as passionate about it as I thought I was. Versus if I'm like around a bunch of guys and I'm trying to work on a car, I am like not. It doesn't even faze me. I'm not intimidated or nervous at all because I'm just like I love doing it. So yeah. Okay, it's 3:01. So let me
Yeah,
know if you guys. Yeah, go ahead.
it was great hearing from you. It was like I could probably listen to you for hours. That was such an inspiring experience. I was like just listening to you. I was like, how could you do all of this? Like I was your age when you got that internship. That's like
Yeah.
insane to me. It's so amazing just hearing from you and hearing like all that you did, especially just like with TikTok in the comment section. I know just like one rumor at school or something breaks people down. So you're insanely,
Thank you so
you're
much.
so strong for doing that, and you're so inspiring.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Just
Yeah. Go
with
ahead.
everyone here, if you guys, so we'll be doing the raffle, and then we'll actually give you guys more details about that, since if you actually subscribe for a newsletter, you'll be entered into a raffle twice. And if you do win the raffle, then we'll send you a gift card for that. So make sure to subscribe to our newsletter, and then just make sure to also applaud Christina, since she did spend the time
Thank
to come
you.
here, and she did put in all the effort to prepare all of this for us, and just it was a great experience just listening to her
Thank you.
talk. So
I had so much fun too, and that was like one of the reasons why I wanted to join this chat is just because just to like emphasize the fact that like you know you don't have to come from a perfect situation to be where I am or where someone else is today. You know what I mean? What really defines you is who you are as a person and what you made out of your situation. So that's why I was like, I have to hop on this trend and this chat, and I was like, I met so many people. Also, it was awesome. So thank you
yeah.
again.
And definitely follow Christina on Instagram or on
Thank
TikTok
you.
too. So just search her up and she'll pop up. So make sure to follow her. And so we
Thank
could just
you.
follow on her journey and just allow her to become the inspiring person that we've seen her to be on the chat.
Thank you guys so much. And I literally wish all of you guys the best of luck because it's just crazy. It's crazy how many people have so many different passions and like you can create such a good thing out of yourself, you know. If you just don't let none negativity get to you, just work on yourself and be the best who you can be and you know, go about your tomorrow or the day after tomorrow and stuff like that. So thank you again. I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. And I hope you guys have a great day.
Bye guys. You can go.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Christina.
Bye. Of
Thank
course.
you all
Thank
so
you
much.
guys. What is it?
Just saying thank you all so much for your incredibly inspiring and just wonderful stories, and best of luck to you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You as well. Bye, guys.